And welcome back. Juanita Skillman is with me today, and she is going to primarily talk about architectural control and standards. Well, actually kind of a little bit of everything when I look at these slides.
Right. Usually I'm here after our board meeting to talk about our board meeting, but Director Akrakar had to be out of town this week, and so we switched, and he did the board report last week about our board meeting, and so I get his. And he is the chair of our Architectural Control and Standards Committee, also known as Alterations.
Okay.
And I just wanted to bring a couple of things to the attention of our residents. We, this time, passed 3 more standards, and we only have 4 more in our book of standards to revise. And that's been really important because what it does is it makes it easier on our residents to just get things done at the counter here without having to go through a variance request to our committee and the whole board, and that just takes more time and effort, and it just is hard for them. So this time we did standards on soft water units. If you have a unit that's one of those salt units that makes your water softer, where you can put it and how it has to be hooked up, etc. Water high heater relocation, if you are taking the water heater outside your unit. Many of us still have our water heaters still in our unit, and those are not affected. But if you take it outside for whatever reason, they want more space, you're remodeling, whatever, then there are certain standards that have to be followed. And so we agreed on those. And then the other thing was ramps for people who are having a little difficulty getting around, or with a walker now, or in some cases wheelchairs, and can't easily get in and out of their unit. And so there are, again, ADA required standards that we have to follow on those. So those are now able to be done over the counter. Now this chart is what they gave us, one of the things they gave us that I thought was really interesting for our residents to see. This is the last 6 months of permits that we have done, what we call mutual consents. That's things that are handled over the counter. And if you'll see on the far side for August, the green line is the number of alterations. Now the blue line, the first one, is the mutual consents or the permits that are asked for. But they come in and there's 3 or 4 or 5 different things on that mutual consent form, on that alteration form. So that's the second, and it's the difference between 71 forms and 216 alterations. And then the next one, the orange line, shows you that we closed 73, which means that, and as you can go back over it, you can see some have come over from the month before, but we closed 73, which were 212 separate alterations that we were able to do. We get a lot of complaints. The main complaint that we get is it's taking too long. It's taking too long. And I have to tell you, it's not us that's taking too long. Most of these things, especially if it's anything that requires any kind of plumbing or electrical, has to go to the city for permits. It's not just something that we can here in the village. And the time it takes to go through the city is what's the real long thing. And so when people say, you all are just not efficient and not doing things well, we really are. Our alterations department down there just gets things done beautifully. And our inspectors are out there. We get our part done, and there's a lot that we don't have to go to the city for, and those ones get done quite quickly. And so I'm very proud of our alterations department. There are always cases. There's going to be, no matter what we do in this village, there's going to be a few exceptions. But the majority, which is what we on the board look for, the whole picture, is really quite good. The other thing I wanted to talk about this morning is insurance.
Okay.
United Mutual has a master policy that covers from the walls out. We own the buildings, we own the structures, etc., and that's what we're responsible for. But it does not cover alterations or improvements that you have made to your unit. And this includes things like patio covers. It does not cover your personal property, anything inside your unit. And it does not cover damage to other units next to you, below you, whatever, from something that originated in your unit.
Okay.
And that's why you need your own your own insurance. We encourage everybody, I wish we could require, but the law will not let us require everybody to have HO6 insurance. See your insurance agent and he will know exactly what HO6 insurance is. But we need to insure, that's what insurance is for the worst case scenario. And these are a couple of those. Your water ice maker line drips. That's one of our most common ones. And it causes water damage to the unit below you. You are responsible for that damage, not them. And they may have HO6 insurance too, but it comes from your insurance.
Yes, it does, yeah.
Windows that leak during a rainstorm and damage your alteration flooring. Number one, they may be alteration windows that you have put in. They are not standard ones that came with that we put in for the unit. And the flooring may have been changed. It's an alteration flooring. You didn't like the flooring that was in there, so you put your own in. And if it damages it, that's your responsibility, and that's why you need insurance. And then, of course, there's always something like a kitchen fire in your unit, and any damage done to that, and in some cases that damage can go to the unit next door to you, whose kitchen is flush with you, or smoke damage to others, etc. And that all comes from the HO6 insurance. Everybody should have it. Everybody, every unit needs insurance. But I want to emphasize that there is a difference between HO4, which is rental insurance, and HO6, which is condo co-op insurance. A lot of people just refer to it as condo insurance. Well, we kind of fit into that category with the co-ops from an insurance point of view. I mean, we all know there's a difference between the two, but from an insurance point of view, members are responsible for any damage to improvements, alterations, additions, anything they've done to their unit, and that is what's covered with your HO6. Now, a couple of the things that you need to be sure are included in your HO6 insurance are, number one, loss of use. Because if something happens in your unit and you have to move out for any reason, and that might be because of water damage, it might be because of the smoke or anything like that, if you have to move out of your unit, loss of use will pay for your living arrangements while you're out. The mutual will not.
Right.
And so they have to have something to fall back on. Where am I going to go? Maybe you don't have children, relatives, whatever in the area that you can go stay with for a couple weeks, couple months, depending on the damage. Some of the big ones is a member left the water running in the sink up above and left for the weekend. And that water just went all over everywhere. It damaged their unit, all of their floors. It damaged the unit below them. And they had to be out for weeks, etc. You need to have that coverage. So make sure that's on there. And you can also get a rider for earthquake insurance. We have earthquake insurance through the mutual that covers the structures, the buildings, but nothing inside the walls. And so you need to make sure you have the rider on that if you want to have any kind of insurance there. The other one I wanted to talk about today, and I have to admonish, our residents a little bit. I got to sit in for our Security Access Committee, and I was just appalled. First of all, they give us things like this, charts. We didn't give this to you because it's very busy and you can't really see all of the things. But what it tells us, and the first one I think that we're looking at is traffic violations. In United in July, we had 110 speeding violations. They break it down by gates, gate 1, 2, 3, 4, gate 5 and 6. Now 1, 2, 3, 4 is all United. We have about half of gate 5. And so putting those together, it was just appalling that we would have that many. 400 vehicles without proper decals. People think, oh, I live in the village, I don't need to register my car with the village, I've got a decal, no, I didn't do the update, whatever. 400 vehicles without decals. Wow. 188 parking violations. Cars parked where they're not supposed to be. And I have to admit, some of those are contractor cars.
Okay.
We get complaints all the time. But when that happens, as the residents need to call security, and they come out and help take care of that.
Okay.
And of the hit and run, there were 5 hit and run. Just in the month of July, we have 12 year to date, which is 2/3 of what we have for the whole village is in United. So what I'm asking our residents is please, please be a little bit more aware and know what's going on. Obey the rules, obey the traffic violations or traffic rules and speed limits and all of those kinds of things, because it just hurts me when I look at these charts and I see half to 2/3 of the violations on almost all of these are in United, not in Third. So we're not doing our job. We're not being careful. So the other one that came to my attention was the crimes report. We also get a crimes report and monthly notice. This is what it is for July. And I just could not believe that we had 41 reports of petty thefts. 41, which was over half for the whole village. Now, usually when I questioned this, they said, well, most of it's bicycles. Please lock your bicycles. Just putting your bicycles in your carport or even out on your open patio is an open invitation. We always have the hide it, lock it, lose it. And that's true. We live in a very, very safe community, but there are things that happen. We go over every month auto burglaries, residential burglaries, of which we had none, thank you. Disturbances. This is often neighbor-to-neighbor fights. Fraud, malicious mischief, grand theft. We had not a lot of that, only 3. Auto theft, we had none, but petty theft, we had 41 reports. And again, that's things that are just left out in your carport, on your patio, that are easily picked up by people walking by.
Right.
The ones in the carport, they like afternoon or late afternoon and evenings. They try not to do these, I think, when people are out walking their dogs and are a little bit more aware.
Yeah.
But it's just like the trash problem where people dump all of this stuff by our trash containers in the dark of night thinking nobody will know it's me that left all this stuff out there. And that's the same thing that happens in carport and petty thefts. And so we need to hide it, lock it, lose it. Thank goodness it's not grand theft and it's not the big things, but we don't want petty theft either.
No.
So, and it's amazing to me. Of course, Third has a lot more garages. Ours are all open carports. Right. And that might be one of the reasons why they don't have as many as we do. But when I go to a meeting like this and I see these statistics and I think, no, 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 no. We need to be more careful in United. We just need to take
You're right.
our time and see what we are. And last but not least, and this is something I'm very pleased with, we have these charts or these checklists that are coming out. This particular one is for building fumigation. You're going to get a letter when they're going to fumigate your building saying we're going to do it at such and such a time, etc. And then there are checklists that are given to you showing what you need to do inside to prepare for the tenting. And a lot of people don't really understand the process, and okay, I need to do this first and then this, and this is how it happens.
Okay.
And so that's what we're trying to educate people with. And when you're temporarily vacating your unit, what do you need to take with you? What do you need to lock up? What do you need to bag up? Those kinds of things. And the other one that's coming up that we're working on right now, which I'm very pleased with, is when you are out of their unit for any other reason, say it's water damage, and you have to go to a hotel or go live with children or something for a while. What are the steps? Because usually there's anywhere from 3 to 4 different departments that are involved in those kinds of things. And so residents need to know step 1 is this, and this is the department that's involved. First step always is calling resident services.
Okay.
And resident services helps to walk you through. But what's step 2? All right, moisture intrusion comes out. They look, and then step 3, they call in dry down services or remediation services or something like that. And then after it's dry, then maintenance has to come out. Carpentry has to come out to do your drywall, to replace this or replace that. Maybe plumbing needs to be replaced. So there's 4 or 5 different departments that are going to be involved in that one incident. And what we want to do is to make it really easy and clear to our residents. This is what happens first, and then this, and this, and this, and this. And if you have a problem with this in the middle, this is who you call.
Okay.
So I hope this is really going to help people. They think just one call is going to do it, and that is often not the case.
All right.
So that's where we are this morning.
Okay, I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. A lot of stuff to go over, but
Well.
important things.